Mark and identify as Exhibit 126 a copy of an email from Robert Coney on December 6, 2014, which is Bates number PAE 006590 to 6591, and ask you to review it. My first question is, do you recognize Exhibit 126?
Yes.
What is Exhibit 126?
It's an email from Bob Coney discussing the Boening system.
Does Exhibit 126 appear to be a true and correct copy of the document you just identified?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I'd like to draw your attention to the first sentence of the second paragraph of Exhibit 126, where it states, "I am again communicating regarding our system that is still not operative." You see that?
Yes.
Okay, if you turn to the second page of Exhibit 126, in the very top, it says, "When PAE convinced me to select Boening and not IntelliSea for the construction of Aurora, we, PAE and myself, were assured the finest product possible would be installed." You see that?
I do.
Is that a true statement?
I don't know.
Why do you not know?
Because I don't know the history of how he came to select the Boening.
Okay, well, apparently a PAE employee named Trevor Smith recommended a Boening system. Is that fair to say?
I don't know.
You have no idea what Trevor Smith
I know that we
gave
gave him a credit for the monitoring system that was in the original contract, and that Bob himself purchased this unit,
Okay, so
or this system.
PAE installed the Boening system. We've already went over this, correct?
Yes.
After Mr. Coney approved Trevor Smith's recommendation, correct?
I don't know that Trevor Smith recommended it.
Okay, well, if he did, which he testified that he did, PAE agreed to install that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so according to the agreement contained in Exhibit 10, PAE is required to ensure the equipment is installed and working on page 2 of Exhibit 10, correct?
You're asking the same question in different ways several times.
Because I haven't got a response yet.
Yeah, well, you did get a response.
Yeah, you just didn't like the response.
Yeah, you didn't like the response. The original system that was a package in the boat was canceled by Bob. It was credited. The budget for it was credited, so we're at ground zero. He subsequently bought a system from an electronic supplier. The PAE / the factory installed the system physically. Getting the system to function was the responsibility. The setup and the programming and the data and the calibration and so forth was the responsibility of the electronic supplier that Bob bought it from.
So according to you, and just so I'm clear, so I can summarize this point, if Mr. Coney paid for some system on the vessel that even though PAE installed, PAE was not responsible to ensuring that it was working and installed properly.
PA wasn't responsible for the setup, which would be the responsibility of the supplier.
What do you base that on? Because it's not in the agreement, so I got to understand where you're basing this on.
That's a very complicated product with protocols and programming and so forth that would be way beyond our talent. We're not builders.
IntelliSea is very complicated also, correct?
If it probably is, yes.
Okay, well, you agreed to install the IntelliSea system.
Yeah, and
correct?
had we installed it per the original agreement, we would have contracted with a supplier to install it and made that supplier responsible. We can't calibrate a product like that. So the supplier of a complicated piece of gear like that is always responsible for the programming, the setup, the calibration.
Had it failed, let's just say the IntelliSea system was the system installed. Had the IntelliSea system had the same problems that the Boening system currently has, who's responsible for making sure that it was installed and operating properly? Who would have been responsible for that?
The supplier of it.
So even if it was the IntelliSea system, you're claiming that had it not been operating as of December of 2014, it's not PA's responsibility?
No, in that case, it would have been. It would have
What's
been.
the difference? I guess I don't understand the difference.
The difference is that it's a complete reset. I don't want the item that's in the contract. Great, here's your money back for it. Okay, full stop. I'm going to buy a system and supply it to you to physically install.
Based on PA's recommendation.
I don't know.
But you're claiming that PAE isn't responsible for that product.
Okay, that's it.
So I'm going to mark and identify as Exhibit 127. Well, actually, before I do that, are you aware of whether the bonding system was ever commissioned?
Commissioned.
Correct.
We'd have to ask the supplier of the bonding system.
Who is responsible for commissioning the systems on the vessel?
The
Under
systems
contract.
or the bonding system?
Who's responsible for commissioning the systems on DN-120 according to the contract?
Systems, according to the contract,
Yes.
PAE.
Okay. Are you aware of whether the bonding system was ever commissioned?
The bonding system became not part of the contract. The bonding system was never in the contract. A different system was in the contract, and it was canceled. And
How are change orders not a part of the contract? You're confusing me there.
We've answered this. Just
I don't think we have.
Stop.
How are change orders not a part of the contract?
Stop.
If-
No, you've explained this.
I don't think.
answer the question.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask because I haven't got a response. I don't
Yes, you
understand.
have gotten a response. Just move on.
How are change orders not part of the contract?
You know, I agree with Frank on that. You've been told about 4 different times now, so I know you're fishing for some kind of.
I'm not. I'm confused because
No.
according to the agreement, it says that
But
change
you're
orders
smarter
aren't part
than
of the
that.
I was going to say,
I'm not
if you're confused right now, you better get a different job because that's been explained very clearly to you.
So according to you, just so I can summarize here,
Don't summarize.
No,
We're
according
not
to
going to
you.
let you summarize. I'm going to
he
object
can agree
to
to
the
this or
question.
not. He can agree to this or not. You can make your objections for the record if you'd like. According to you, anything that was a change order is not part of the purchase agreement. Is that correct?
Don't answer the question.
Are you going to follow your counsel's instructions?
Yes.
And I'm not sure where there was an objection there. I just heard don't answer the question. So I'm guessing there's not an objection. So I'll have to ask it one more time. According to you, were change orders a part of the contract?
Don't answer the question.
Is there an objection? Seeing that there's not, I'd ask the court reporter, unless you want to meet and confer on this point as well. I don't even know how you're going to tell the judge that I didn't object, yet I instructed the witness not to respond, to mark and certify that question. I'm going to put a document in front of you